everyone, welcome back. It is time for a wrestling review. Since Monday was a holiday here in Canada, me and Campo were able to do the Forbidden Door review and giving it to you this Tuesday, which is today. So here we are, Forbidden Door 2024. With me once again, we have Campo.Reviews, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, everything in between, wrestling now, and everything. Make sure you go give him a follow. He has his own YouTube channel, RLG Cast. You know his RLG Cast, so go follow it. Yeah, Campo, Forbidden Door, which is really not that forbidden anymore.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It was a thing.
There's
There's
a lot of doors.
Very few this year. Not as many as there used to be.
It's many forbidden doors.
Well, I mean, as many outside talent.
I don't know. It felt pretty outside.
Yeah.
Well, because like Will Osprey is still technically like New Japan, even though he's AEW.
Okada.
Yeah, Okada's still technically, right? So it's like, yeah, I get it.
But and something else we'll get into later in the show. We'll start with the 0 Hour. 0 Hour had 5 matches. They added another one after I sent you that text.
So 15 total.
Yes, 15 total matches. It was almost a 5-hour show. If you more than 5 hours, if you count 0 Hour.
It's a different one. I didn't really feel the length of it. As the show progressed, coming out of the pre-show, the 0 Hour, going into like the first match or two, that's when I was like really like, oh, I'm already hitting it. But then after, like, the matches are pretty quick.
Yeah,
like,
they
until
were.
the end, that's a good and bad, because like I kind of wanted some of those matches to be more epic than they were, and they kind of just were over.
Which we'll get to a little later in the show when we talk about them. But we'll start off with the first match of 0 Hour, which was literally added at the 0 Hour. Kyle Fletcher facing off against Serpentico. He's fallen down the card.
I just think there was nowhere to put him. He's been getting a lot of time in Mexico.
Yeah, he lost the ROH Television Championship to Atlantis Jr. a couple nights ago,
which I think is good for Ring of Honor. I think
so. They have a working. They work with CMLL now.
Well, we're going to talk about that even a little bit more later, but I feel like AEW is starting to learn that if they use these companies to their own benefit, they can grow their fan base in Mexico and Japan. Where before it was like, no, we're just always going to let our guys win. And now it's starting to be like, well, these titles are not very important. Like, someone can win the international belt or win the continental,
ROH television.
Yeah, exactly. But
this was a quick match.
Yeah, and it didn't make any sense to me why this match exists. Serpentico always loses, so you already knew that this match was over.
And this is the third year in a row that Serpentico opened the show.
He's actually a pretty good wrestler.
Because we missed it last year when Serpentico faced off against Lawler.
Him and Angelico are both pretty good wrestlers. The thing is, they just know their place. They get their role and they just do it. Like, I'm here to lose.
Yeah. I'm here to put over the other talent, which he did. In 3 minutes. He lost to Kyle Fletcher. Fletcher
got destroyed.
Yeah. So with that, we are going into a 4-way tag team, not elimination match. It's the House of Black against Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii against Roderick Strong and Gabe Kidd, with the rest of the, I guess, Undisputed Kingdom minus Adam Cole and Gato. Gato was here.
It's a trend
against Private Party. Sorry,
against Private Party. Yeah, it's a trend that it's always happened, but we're starting to get a little bit more frustrated by it lately. And I'm going to be honest, this match was actually pretty good.
It was a really good match.
But it just when we got to the end of the match, I had this like thought of like, wait, that was so pointless. As good as the match was, I was like, that was so pointless.
I think they're setting up Kyle O'Reilly against Gabe Kidd as Gabe Kidd's next challenger.
And I think that's what's going to happen too. But
not that O'Reilly's going to win, but he's the next challenger for Kidd.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to build up a side feud with Private Party and House of Black.
They got to really start pushing Private Party again because they're one of the originals.
Yeah, and nobody cares about them right now.
Yeah.
Pre-learning tree, stuff that was happening, like they didn't even get a pop when they came out.
No. And in the end, though, the House of Black does go over. Brody King ends up pinning, I can't tell which one's which, Zay or Quen.
I don't even know their names.
I remember Isaiah Cassidy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but now he
I
just
do
goes
know who it
by
is. Isaiah
Zay.
Cassidy's the taller one.
Yeah,
But
but
because I
yeah,
remember him from the when he jumps
yeah,
off the
but
house at Jeff Hardy's house
and
or
Jeff
whatever,
Hardy's
Matt Hardy's
Matt
house.
Hardy's, yeah. So we'll go into our third 0 hour match, which is Willow and Nightingale, and we're getting our first Stardom talent, Tam Nakano against Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe.
A match far better than we deserved for a
Mm-hmm.
pre-show. It's Chris Statlander didn't fit. She was the odd person out here, where the other
Yeah.
three got like the understanding of this is how we should wrestle. And I don't know
And
if Chris
Willow's
Statlander's
worked
yeah,
in New Japan.
that's what I was gonna
Willow's
say. I
worked
don't
in
know
Stardom.
if
And
Statlander's ever
no,
worked in Japan, but
no.
or Mexico, but you could see that like Willow knew I got to hit this girl hard, even though she's tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Statlander kept doing those fake discus lariats.
Yeah.
And she does it with no power. She just turns around and like lifts her arm up, and it's like it takes you out of it so
Well, she's
much.
afraid to hurt Tam. Tam can take
Like
it. Don't
Tam's
worry
gonna
about hurting
dodge
Tam.
you. You don't have to worry about that.
Or she can take it, so you don't have to worry about her.
But they were all misses, right? They were
Yeah.
some intentional misses. But it's like they do this thing where they put like so much effort and then they just stop. And it's just like, but it was a good match. It was a good match. It's to further two storylines, Momo and Tam's storyline and this storyline. But I hope we get more involvement now, where maybe Willow joins up as part of Tam's like group in some kind of Stardom thing. Like you know how like Chaos has members that are also in the States. Like maybe we get that with Willow being part of Tam's team.
Well, I mean, tomorrow or Wednesday night, which is tomorrow if you're watching this on the Tuesday, we're getting Willow versus Chris Statlander in the semifinals for the
but here's my thing. This is a feud you've built up for a pretty long time now. And this
to blow it off in the
important.
semifinals.
Do you blow it off on a Dynamite?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You just had I know it's on the pre-show, but you just had a lead-up match on the pay-per-view pre-show, and you're gonna have the blow-off on Dynamite?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about the tournament a little later, but after the next match, we'll talk about the women's tournament, because after this match, Willow and Tam go over, and we get our first round match of the women's Owen Hart Cup tournament. It's Mariah May against Sera.
Better match than I thought it would be. But clearly,
and Mariah May wrestled circles around Sera.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Clearly, you could see the difference between a homegrown WWE talent and someone who's wrestled in Japan.
Yeah.
It's like you know, it's not even that Sera sucks or Mariah May is a better wrestler, but you like we just talked about, she's willing to do harder hitting things and take bigger bumps, where Sera just wants to exist in this match.
Yeah. And shout out to Mariah May's outfit, 90s HBK inspired.
Yeah. And you know what? Like honestly, Sera was pretty decent in this, but you could see the difference. You could immediately see the difference between the two of them.
Mariah May carried the match instead of, you would think the veteran like Sera would have been the one carrying the match, and it was May. But we do get some shenanigans here and there, but in the end, Mariah May wins. She goes on.
Which so do you want me to say my thing?
Yeah, go for it. So because I was thinking the same thing.
I thought there's something happens later, but it doesn't. Okay. But I'm expecting that there's going to be a rift caused between Mariah and Tony, and Mariah is going to win this tournament because she just beat Sera. She's going to face next. She faces Shida. If she beats Shida, then she's most likely going to face Willow in the finals, which is a big win. She wins the tournament, then she gets a shot. Because in my head, I was like, it's an all-in, right? So it's got to. She's an English wrestler. She could win the title in England, and that's their little thing. And Tony Storm's had it for long enough now, I think.
Yeah, it's time to switch it up.
And that storyline tells a good story. However, I started thinking, it's obviously going to be Jamie Hayter, but then I realized only the winner of this tournament gets to face them in there. So it's not going to be Jamie Hayter. It's going to be Mariah May. Unless they weasel away in for a three-way match and they use Mariah May as fodder for Jamie Hayter to win the belt and doesn't have Tony Storm look bad.
No, that could be a possibility.
Is Mariah May ready to win the world title yet? No, especially when you have Sasha Banks fighting for the TBS title. But
we'll talk about that after.
It's a storyline that's maybe the only good storyline
Yeah.
they have in the women's division,
Yeah.
other than
The
Chris
only thing
Statlander
is,
and Willow.
why is Perazo taking all the losses? They signed her. Did they sign her just so she didn't sign anywhere else?
I think so. And I was talking to somebody about that the other day about the way that like even in the Triple H era, but like pre 2024. Okay, so even 2023, like with Maddie Renkowski and those
Mhm.
people, it felt like WWE just signs people to make sure nobody else gets them and then benches
Yeah.
them. And
Yeah.
then when you forget who they are, they bring them back as a new character so that you only see them as that character.
Yeah.
But I'm like this year, WWE's been pretty good with the stuff that they've done.
Yeah.
But now
Julia's
I feel
probably going to
like
make her debut next week or this weekend at Money in the Bank.
AEW just has a few people that I feel like it was just to spite TNA. It's not even to stop WWE from getting them. It was just because we don't like TNA, so we're gonna take your people from you. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it was like, oh,
Because
okay,
she had the title match right away and then fell to the bottom of the card.
we'll see. She like their women's division has a lot of talent, so
Yeah.
we'll see where if she can build up a
But
storyline.
then
And
again, they're always pushing Serena Deeb.
I think, I mean, I do have another thought process here where actually I'll wait till we get there, but it involves the Ring of Honor belt. And I think maybe there's a chance that Deonna Purrazzo is gonna win one of those belts.
Okay. We'll go on to our next match, our final match of the pre-show. The Lucha Brothers, Penta and Rey Fenix and Místico against LIJ members Tsuji, Titan, and Hiromu Takahashi.
A funny and absolutely excellent match.
This is a fantastic match. Yeah.
The one thing I'll tell you right now I didn't like about this match is Yoda Tsuji completely 100% phoned this in. Every
Yeah,
time he
he
got
did
hit,
not
he
care.
rolled out of the ring. He didn't sell the injuries. He just would roll out and stand there.
He
And
did
then
his
wait
best
till it
Shawn
was his
Michaels.
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would just wait till it was his turn to take another spot, and then he would roll back out and just stand there, not selling anything.
Yeah.
He didn't even lie on the ground ever. He just automatically rolled out of the ring every time and stood
Yeah.
there.
But I mean, the match itself was really good.
The match was good.
Yeah. And it was a great, for me, like in the end, like the Lucha Brothers end up going over. This is our first CMLL interaction of the show.
Yeah. It's definitely this is to further a storyline between Takahashi and Mystico.
Mhm.
That's like what this match was there for.
Yeah,
basically.
they're building up to that match eventually. Yeah. So with that, 0 hour ends after almost 2 hours, and we go into our main show.
But 0 hour was good.
It was good. Yeah, it definitely got me hyped for the pay-per-view. Let's all kidding aside, like it got us hyped for the pay-per-view. With that, I think this was a dead of a match. MJF versus Hechicero.
Okay, so I don't think the match was bad. I thought the match
Their
was
styles didn't work.
The match, but MJF was really good. He showed like some progression as a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the match overall was fine. It wasn't bad. It was a perfectly fine match. It was short. It didn't need to be here. It was just, I think, a last minute way for CMLL to get one of their big stars on the show and to make sure MJF was on the show.
A hometown guy.
And it put over MJF.
Yeah.
That's like what they want, right?
Yeah. And this was a quick match too.
Yeah, it was very quick.
Yeah. But I found that this match had too many clash of style, no pun intended, but it was a styles clash of the two.
It was.
But and in the end, though, MJF does go over. So with that, we'll go into our second match of the night. It is the Elite against the Acclaimed and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
This is
let's get Tanahashi on the card.
It way exceeded my expectations.
Yeah. But this is where you hide Tanahashi well.
And it did. It worked really well. Like the way that they booked this match, and this is not saying that Tanahashi is better than our like ragging on him has been, but for some reason I just think that the Young Bucks and Okada know how to use Tanahashi, where Tanahashi doesn't know how to use himself. Do you know when he's booking himself, he's like, yeah, I'm a star, but they're like, no, dude, you're
like 50.
What we're gonna do with you. Yeah, they're like, calm down, your legs don't work. But it was like Okada beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, it continues the Okada Tanahashi storyline.
And I think this goes to Japan. I don't care.
Which we'll talk about later on the show.
I don't care for the Young Bucks being involved in the storyline with
The Acclaimed
the Acclaimed. It just, and
doesn't
this is still
work.
not a blow off for me. Like I'm pretty sure the blow off is going to be an All In, and we're going to waste a pay-per-view match for the Acclaimed versus Young Bucks. Not that that's bad, but the story is irrelevant, and I
Yeah.
feel like I don't care for this. There's better tag teams they could face.
Yeah.
Like, why not the Young Bucks against Malachi Black and
I think
Buddy Matthews or
that's I
whatever?
think that's where they're going next.
I hope so.
Because yeah. I think
Or the
that's where
Lucha Brothers. Give us another epic Young Bucks Lucha Brothers match.
they're afraid of what Penta might do.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
But maybe that convinces him to stay.
There's serious talks that Penta may leave.
I already saw that way before they've been talking about it now. And it's being rumored that he's doing it just because he wants to take the money. He knows he's getting closer to the end of his career, and they're offering him like a dump truck of money
Yeah.
to fucking go to WWE because they're hoping that by him going, eventually Ray Phoenix will go as well.
Yeah. Because
But
Phoenix
he's not
is
going to
younger.
get used. He's going to end
He
up getting.
might.
He's
He
gonna
might
get.
only-
He's gonna get put in the LWO
with Rey Mysterio.
or the other guys, and just be pigeonholed into this your South American wrestler, or well,
Yeah.
they're North American technically, but
Technically, yeah. But
not in
Mexican
WWE.
style,
They're
lucha
not.
style. You'll be
In WWE, everything below Texas and California is Mexico.
it's
It's
Mexico. Everything is
just,
Mexico.
everything is Mexico. Jamaica, it's Mexico. It's just
Yeah, that's according to the WWE logic, yes. But in the end, the Lucha Brothers do go, or sorry, the Elite do go over. We're talking about the Lucha Brothers. I got Lucha Brothers on
and a better than I expected match.
Yeah,
Didn't need it though. Just like
a
I didn't need the
little
first
bit
match.
of a little bit of gimmick infringement on John Cena with the Reebok pumps.
Yeah, but okay, so they made a shoe, and I'm still confused. I kept asking Caps if he could explain it to me somehow. Why is there a crossover shoe between Brody Lee and Doug Gilmore?
Because Brody Lee is a huge Doug Gilmore and Toronto Maple Leafs fan. Was. Brody used to rock Maple Leafs gear all the time.
So is that why they're doing that?
Yeah, he was from Rochester, so he grew up as a Leafs fan, not as a.
That's weird to me though, because it's like they're talking about Doug Gilmore being it's like a shoe he's endorsing, and I'm like, what is happening? They're not very nice shoes.
Yeah, if you look at if you even go through, like, I think Brody Lee's Instagram is still active. He's always wearing Leafs jerseys, Leafs hats, always in a Leaf hat. That guy. It's because like I said, he grew up in Rochester, and Rochester.
I did see him in Leaf hats all the time.
Yeah, so Rochester, I think there's more of a Leaf following in Rochester than there is.
Well, they're right across the lake.
Right, so.
You could take a boat, a fishing boat, and just cross.
If you take a boat across Lake Ontario, you can actually get to Rochester faster than you can get to Buffalo.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Anyways, digressing from the point.
Yes.
Yeah, this could have been a pre-show match, and it would have been a really, really good one.
Yeah.
Same with MJF. Both of these could have been pre-show matches, and they would have been good pre-show matches.
Yeah, and then start the main card off with the next match, which is Bryan Danielson against Shingo Takagi.
This was a really good match.
A match that I never thought I wanted, but I'm glad I have it.
Ring work wise,
mm-hmm.
and storytelling in the ring wise, I think this was an excellent match. My issue was the pacing of it was so boring.
It was a little slow.
This pay-per-view came out last night when we're recording this. Okay. I've watched this match 2.5 times because every time I got to it, I zoned out, but halfway into the match.
Yeah.
Like, I will admit, the ring work is good.
I zoned out once they start, and I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the fake Daniel Bryan can't continue injury angles.
Yeah.
In every match that he has.
But that spot was really good.
It was a great, like, he did this DDT. He caught him in midair and DDT'd him in the ground. It was fantastic. I'm just tired of this. Like, yes, we understand Bryan has neck problems. Bryan has head problems. Yes, he's not going to die in every match.
It's the same exact feeling I have with Cody Rhodes. Why is he always injured? Like, the only angle they have with him is he's injured. If they don't turn Cody Rhodes heel soon, it's going to get real stale.
Yeah.
But that being said, if there was some good spots. I don't like the Doc Samson thing. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
I don't like that he comes out. He's not even talking to him. He's not even checking him. He just has his hand on him.
Yeah, and
he's just
Aubrey's like
standing there.
starting the count.
And he's just kneeled and he's just holding his arm. Like, at least talk to him so it looks like you're here fucking doing something. Like, it touches neck, so it's like, oh, are you hurt?
So one of
like,
the telltale signs, if a wrestler, like after a big spot to check if a wrestler's injured, the ref, if you look, they'll grab the hands, and if you see the wrestler squeeze their hand, then you know they're okay.
Yeah, and there was like 3 moments in the ladder match, which we'll talk about when we get there,
Yeah.
but where someone got hurt, and it was like you could see right away by the way that they rolled into a position was like, okay, they're actually not hurt.
Yeah.
Which was good because one of them was Dante Martin, and I thought he was dead again. But anyways,
Dante Martin's been hurt more than he's been around.
yeah, his brother too, right? Because if they get injured offset, one gets injured, the other one then one
is back.
Mario Andretti's the only one who doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, and they didn't even use him on this show.
Yeah. Anyways, continuing.
Yeah, but in the end, Danielson taps him out.
Yeah, I like I said, I think it was a really well crafted match. I think the storytelling was very good. It's just too slow paced.
Yeah,
like I don't.
Brian is more used to
offense,
a fast. Yeah,
Shingo came out with his offense, go, 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 and then Brian came out like roll him up, just grab his leg, roll him up.
Hey, he got a surfboard on him.
Yeah, that's true.
But so with that, we'll move on. Danielson goes over, wins by submission. He moves on to the tournament. Let's talk about the men's side now. He's going to be facing Pac.
Yeah, which that's going to be a banger. I'll take that.
Yeah, and Jay White is going to face the winner of Jarrett or a mystery opponent.
Yeah, I wonder who mystery opponent's going to be.
Who do you think it's going to be?
I
have no idea.
Like, they haven't given us anything, but I imagine it's someone that he's going to beat because of the story that he told.
Oh, Jarrett's going to the final.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be Jarrett versus Danielson.
Especially after that promo. I think Pac's beating Danielson.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. My bad. I don't know why. Pac is going to win the tournament.
Yeah. Because you think Pac will win and get the title shot?
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense for Jarrett to win and get the title shot.
And Pac versus is British.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Though I would rather have Will Osprey versus Pac. But
yes. But this is also telling the story of Pac going through all the BCC members.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, I'm okay with it. And I think getting Jeff Jarrett to the finals is emotional enough.
Yeah.
He accidentally created the most emotional story in WWE right now.
About him and Owen when they were friends. And like, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He did.
Because the promo just went. They knew what he was going to do, but they just let it go. There's an extended version.
Yeah, and he's like full on crying.
It's like way better. And it's like they knew right then that they were like, okay,
this is gold.
We got gold.
This is gold. But we're moving on to Toni Storm defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Mina Shirakawa. And Mariah May is at the ringside to support both participants.
This is one of the better women's matches of the year so far.
I would put this in the top 3. There was no holding back.
There was a lot of really good top rope spots. Like
they let Toni go. Like they let her go with Mina.
Well, Toni Storm is arguably the best women's wrestler they have.
Yeah, and she spent some time in Stardom too, right?
She knows
her and Mina have history. Yeah,
yeah, and she's always been someone that's not scared to make the match more intense. You know, like she's bled and like all kinds of stuff. She's not shy from putting on a good match,
which was good too. The fact that she stayed away from her shenanigans in this match too.
See, and yes,
even though that's part of the gimmick, I get it that's part of her gimmick, but
it didn't have to be.
It didn't have to be this match. Yeah, just let them wrestle. Let the story tell itself.
And it came across really well in the sense that like it felt realistic. And like here's a good example too. Toni Storm is a wrestler's wrestler for the women's division. Like her only goal is to put on a good match. Sasha Banks wants to be a wrestler's wrestler. That's like, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But like she's really trying to be that person that Toni Storm already is.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm going to give it 100%. I like Bryan Danielson. I'm only here to put on this match.
Yeah.
I want to live forever through what I've done, not just get a paycheck and be on WWE or whatever show. I didn't mean to single them out.
But But yeah, like you said, there was a lot of great rope work. There was that one spot where she jumps off the rope to the outside. Like it was like,
Yeah, the DDT spot off the
mhm,
top rope was really
yeah.
nice. It's like there was a good story told too. I just don't like the way the match ended.
You think Mina should have won?
No, I think that it should have ended with the feud starting now between Tony and Mariah
And
May.
Mariah. Instead, Tony does retain. She is still your AEW champion. Then all three of them get in the ring together and they all kiss each other.
I think it should have ended with the match, like them being shaking hands and stuff, and then when they're getting out of the ring, Mariah May hits her and is like, "You're a
See,
pussy. I thought you were tougher than that."
not yet. That has to be after Mariah wins the tournament.
And then she gets jealous or something because they're gonna
Mhm.
have to face each other.
Right.
Maybe, but I feel like you could have planted a seed now and you did the opposite. You reverse planted.
Yeah.
Like you only added to this.
Yeah. Because I think, and let's just say how over Shirakawa was in this crowd. Like she is getting over in the US.
It's the
Like
song.
big. It is. It's a great song. It's a banger.
It's absolute best, one of the best intros in all
Yeah.
of wrestling.
But like we were just was it us that we were discussing like how every WWE theme song is so generic that they have to announce the wrestler's name before the song starts, so this way they
But
know who it.
that's because they use in-house like things for most of it, which I'm sure they do in Stardom. But Stardom has like this whole distinct style based on what kind of wrestler you are.
Yeah.
Or WWE used to with like Stone Cold and The Rock, it was really catered to you, and now it's just like rock song, Dana rock song, and you're
And
like,
they'll yell
okay,
out Baron Corbin.
yeah, exactly. TNA has is worse than
Yeah.
WWE for that by a long
But
shot.
TNA also has the best theme song too. Say his
Mhm.
name and he appears.
Yeah, but he that's him.
That's
He's
yeah, that's
literally creating his own music.
he got himself over. Let's be fair. But yeah, so we'll go into our next match. The third time these guys are facing each other at a Forbidden Door is Zack Sabre Jr. against Orange Cassidy.
Second time. Orange
Was it?
Cassidy versus Will Osprey was the first one.
Oh, right.
I think they faced each other at Dynasty or Wrestle Dream or one of
Wrestle
those.
Dream, yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. We're not going to speculate. That's irrelevant.
Point is, they faced each other too many times.
This was another match where I felt like the Bryan Danielson match. It was a good story told. The ring work was excellent,
It was
but it
fine.
was just
It
boring.
seems like the theme of this pay-per-view was fine.
Yeah,
It was fine.
It was genuinely a good match. But like, if you're not someone who's really, really into wrestling and you're more here for the spectacle, then
This
this
was not
match
a
would be
match for you.
so boring for you.
I
Same
mean,
with the
I'll
Danielson.
give Orange the ability that he kept up with Zach's technical ability.
Oh, for sure. And we haven't seen him do that. And I think that's why, if you're a big wrestling fan, I think there's stuff you'll enjoy here.
Yeah.
Like
I popped a little bit for it.
Seeing Orange Cassidy do things we've never seen him do.
Reversing Zach. Like, there was one point where Zach had him in like leg hook, arm bar, some other like 3 leg submissions at the same time. And
I like the story they're telling with Orange Cassidy right now, where he's just frustrated and he can't win. And Will Osprey, Zack Sabre Jr. deserved this win. He wins, by the way.
Yeah,
he deserved
Zach goes
it.
over.
I thought it was the right choice because Zack Sabre Jr. deserves the accolades right now more than Orange Cassidy does.
Yeah. It's time to give Zach his due.
Yeah, and Orange Cassidy went through a year-long run of like being the best wrestler in AEW, basically.
And the most entertaining.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll go into our next match. This marks the two-thirds point of the show. That means there's 1/3, 33 and 1/3% chance.
Yeah.
We're going Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata against the Learning Tree. I am tired of this Learning Tree gimmick.
I don't care. Like, that's such a weird thing to say. I don't hate it or love it. It just exists. I'm not mad about it. I think it's funny sometimes.
But at least we got Jeff Cobb replacing an injured Brian Keith.
And I think it's better than Suzuki. I like
because there's a feud
Suzuki.
now. There's a feud now with Suzuki and Jericho.
Yeah, but that's because they want Jericho to go over to Japan and have a match.
Yeah.
The Suzuki match would have just been chops and it would have been boring.
Yeah.
Jeff Cobb versus Samoa Joe is something nobody knew they wanted, but now we all know it's
Yeah,
like
and the
literally what
fact
we
that
want.
Cobb lifted him up the way he did, he ragdolled Joe, and nobody's been able to do that before.
Well,
The fact,
he's a legit weightlifter and
yeah,
professional wrestler
yeah, but you don't
or
realize
amateur wrestler.
because Cobb is not, he's not that big, like in terms of height wise.
He's about the same as Samoa Joe, like
Yeah,
stature all around.
but
Like
yeah,
when they went nose to nose, I was like, wow, they're like the same guy.
pretty height. Yeah,
Um, I liked this match, but it was one of the most unnecessary matches we've gotten in a long
yeah,
time on any pay-per-view.
yeah,
Like this anything of involving the learning tree should be on the pre-show.
yes, yeah,
And then on the pre-show, I would have been like, "Wow, that was excellent." For now, I was like, "Yeah, it was good. It was." I'm not
yeah.
upset that I watched it. It
This
wasn't
is
that long.
this
Shibata
is
threw some heavy-duty fucking knees.
yes. This is just a very New Japan style of bloating the card before the main events.
Yeah, that's like where we're getting here. These are better than the New Japan ones, though. Way
Yes.
better, but still,
But in the end, Hook gets the win.
which I think is right. And I think
Yeah,
we got to have the blow off. Hook needs to get the belt back.
that's probably going to happen at All In.
And I would slowly groom this storyline to where the Hook versus Jungle Boy feud starts again
Mm-hmm.
and they fight for the TNT belt. It's time for Hook to move up a division,
Yeah.
especially getting training now with Samoa Joe and Shibata.
Shibata. Yeah. My question is now, because we didn't bring it up, we got Matt Menard on the pre-show commentary. What did you think of Daddy Magic on commentary?
I liked
I
it.
wanted to. He was actually quite good.
He's always good when he's on it. The problem that I have is that he starts to slowly like steep too much into that character and then it gets annoying. But
Yeah.
like in the beginning, he's very analytical and like statistical about like everything that's happening, and then it's like
Yeah.
slowly just becomes a heel.
Then he starts giving that accent and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the what's his name? The Scottish guy or Irish. What is he? The
Nigel McGuinness.
Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah.
He sometimes you're like, wow, man, I love that this guy's here. And then there's matches where it's like, I wish you would just shut the fuck up.
During
Like
Danielson matches.
the Danielson match and the Tony Storm match was so annoying. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, he I don't know what it is. I think he and Danielson have legit beef.
I think, and maybe they do, but another thing is maybe they're planning for a match at
A
All In
one-off?
where yeah, just a one in match at All In where it's gonna be like on the pre-show or something. It's gonna be Danielson versus him.
Versus McGuinness.
But like he fills all the dead air, which like, yeah, sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't think anyone's in the back being like, yo, you gotta fill all this dead air. He just talks.
And then it gets annoying to a certain point.
Yeah.
Kind of like McAfee.
Because he stays in the character.
Yeah.
It's, you know what it reminds me of? Of pre right now WWE version of Corey Graves,
Yeah.
where he just couldn't get rid of the character and he never stopped talking.
Because that was always Vince in his ear. Now that they have even Michael Cole has been amazing.
Their chemistry since this
Vince
complete
left.
turnaround has been fantastic.
Yeah, Michael Cole has really elevated himself as one of the, since I think he's in charge of commentary. Like Michael Cole is the head of commentary, I think.
You could tell that there's like a real, like Corey Graves really looks up to Michael Cole.
Mm-hmm.
But before you couldn't get that feeling because he was so stuck in that character and it was like, oh my God, just shut up, guy.
Yeah, but it's how now it's like Cole is the straight man and Graves is like the, I don't want to say comedic relief, but like the heel. But
yeah.
Cole is always the straight man.
Yeah.
He just calls it down the middle like it is. He's
now
not...
they both play off each other.
Yeah, so
it's a lot better. But yeah, I mean they got to figure that out.
So with that, we'll go into our next match. Samoa Joe, Hook, I said, gets the pin in this match, and it's going to lead to Hook versus Jericho, probably All In for the belt. So we're getting Jack Perry, Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Dante Martin, Lio Rush, and ELP.
I'm so happy ELP and Lio Rush were here.
Yes.
It made the match feel really different because I don't think I've seen either of them ever in a ladder match.
No, I have not.
So it felt like it had this element of like,
I think Leo did a Money in the Bank once.
actually, I think Leo might have done an X division with where they had ladders.
On Ultimate X, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
felt really fresh because it wasn't just the same guys we always get, and we haven't seen really Jungle Boy in this position in a long time.
Dante Martin in a high position for him.
And I think something I really, really appreciate about this match. First of all, this match was excellent. Second of all,
Takeshita was an absolute
the
monster.
punch at the beginning of the match was fucking unbelievable. The blue thunder bomb
through the tables. Oh.
That's maybe the best spot of the year. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
I also like Mark Briscoe over the rope onto Takeshita. Anyways,
I have one issue with that. You're at the top of the ladder. You grab the belt.
Yeah, that's life.
I hate that spot. I'm sorry, but
that.
I absolutely hate that spot. You have the match won, and you throw it all away because you have to do a high spot.
The Mark Briscoe spot off the ladder, off
It looked
the
fantastic.
ring.
Don't get me wrong.
That one, are you talking about the one where he jumped onto Jungle Boy and the table
Yeah.
didn't break?
Yeah.
Once again, why did he choose to land the same way that Edge did it?
Yes.
Like straight down. And he's a guy that takes those kind of spots. I thought that was weird. Like, wouldn't you just go right through him on the table?
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It looked amazing. Like,
it
visually.
It was a wicked spot. It's just you could see after that, oh no. And then they mentioned the same landing as
Edge.
But anyways, what I wanted to say was you could really see from the start of this match two things. Number one, that Mark Briscoe was totally ring generaling this match and like telling people this.
He called all the spots. Yeah.
Let's make it like this so it's safe. You could see him making sure everything was safe.
Yeah,
and
he's moving also, broken ladders out of the way.
ELP was so instrumental in setting up all the spots. No one noticed him, but they're opening all the tables and like putting the chairs out and the ladders and everything. That was all him doing it, like behind the camera. Like you caught him a few times on like the odd angle where he's out there like setting up. And he was really good in this match. We love ELP. He's our New Japan Ninja Mac. Okay,
he is. We each company has our favorites. ELP is our New Japan favorite. Like
yeah, for sure.
Like we know that, but like it's no secret we love ELP and good old Canadian boy too.
How come no one knows how to say Nito?
They say Naito.
Like what's her name? John Moxley's wife kept saying Naito.
Naito, yeah. Naito.
And then someone kept saying Naito. I can't remember who that was. And
Naito.
I was like,
Naito.
This is really weird.
Yeah.
Anywho, I thought overall this was an excellent match. This is like for me the pay-per-view. I was like, wow, I'm back in. You got me.
Yeah, this is where it hooked me back in.
They know how to place a plunder match.
What's the term for it? A car crash match.
Yeah, the AEW even sometimes they overdo it.
Yeah,
they always know the right spot on the card to put one.
Yeah, and there wasn't a lot of color in this match.
It didn't need it.
No, it didn't. So, but in the end, even though Mark Briscoe had the opportunity to win it 10 minutes ago, Jack Perry ends up climbing the ladder.
30 seconds before Mark Briscoe, Takeshita literally had it and didn't take it.
Yeah, he did the same thing.
And the crowd went more nuts for him than anyone. Like
I don't think they're ready to turn Takeshita face yet.
My thing that I think is coming, but it's hard because they're still pushing them so aggressively, is he's going to beat Okada for the Continental belt.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Let him win the FTW at least. Give him a fucking belt.
Something.
Put him in a tag team with Kyle Fletcher and let them win the tag belt.
What do you think? What do you think then of Jack Perry with the TNT belt?
I'm fine with it. Give them all the gold. Real glass.
So with that, we'll move into our winner take all match. Monae defending the AEW TBS Championship against Stephanie Vacour for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship.
Worst match of the night.
We knew the outcome of this match before it even started.
We did.
And I love Stephanie Vacour. She's probably our women's
She was
wrestler.
amazing in this, though.
Monae is garbage in this match.
No, like, listen, we've come around, not garbage. Come around. I've at least come around to being like, wow, she's getting a lot better. She's doing the practice. She admitted she was training in Japan and in Mexico.
And she went right
styles.
back to her old style in this match.
She tried too hard to do things out of her realm of comfortable, and it looked really bad. Vacour had to cover for her many times. There were so many botches. You could see it in her face that she was upset.
Her out
well, that's because she's from Boston. That's because she's from Boston.
That's true.
They established that for you later because they wanted you to know why she's being booed.
Yeah.
But I saw this as an opportunity. If I'm booking this show and the referees call the shots, right? Like not
Right.
call the shots, but they're like telling what's going on. Like I would have the amount of times that they were covering their mouths talking to each other about what spot they were going to do. If I'm
Yeah.
fucking Sasha Banks and I see this heat, I'm going, let her win the belt. Let me lose. Let her get it for now. And then I'll win it back later and gain even more heat when I beat her for both belts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it felt like you could kind of see it in her eyes that she knew she was fucking up, and the
Yeah.
amount of heat she was getting and the amount of heat that Vacour was getting on the opposite side
Yeah.
was like, just let her win. You're Sasha Banks. You're not going to lose anything by losing this match.
No, you
And then
don't
you
lose
face her again
clout.
at
You
All
don't
In and
lose.
win it back. But then I guess there's a reason why they didn't do that.
Yeah. Because Monet does end up winning. She has both belts. Again, they've booked themselves into an Eddie Kingston corner.
Not so much here because they don't own the strong belt.
Okay.
So to me, it's a little bit less frumpy. And also, AEW is a more regular basis
Yeah.
of blow off things than Ring of Honor is, where like it was hard to get Eddie Kingston to lose that belt because there was no matches for that belt.
Yeah.
Like you're waiting so long to get it.
But
She's
in
gonna
the
hold
end,
the
we do.
TBS belt for a while.
Yeah. But in the end, we do get a return, though. Not the one everybody was expecting.
No,
Everybody was expecting Becky Lynch to come out.
no, I didn't think Becky Lynch was coming out.
Not you. I know you and I were not. We know Becky Lynch is never going to AEW. But
If anything, she's gonna retire.
you look everywhere on the dirt sheets, it's Becky Lynch to AEW, Becky Lynch to AEW, Becky Lynch to AEW.
Yeah, there was a lot of speculation that Natalia was gonna show up too. It's funny that you made that joke.
Natalia, I could see because her contract is done as well.
But like that's not who I want facing Sasha Banks for the title.
No,
I keep calling her Sasha Banks. I don't really care.
like I mean, I could see Natalia contract expired. She presents the Owen Hart Award, but other than that, I don't really see her making a presence.
This is going to be a rough one for me because unless while she was gone, I know you like her, but like unless she like got really good when she was gone, this is going to be a botch fest between Monet and
Baker.
Who
Yeah.
Britt Baker comes out, by the way.
Yeah, Britt Baker is the return.
Which was a good pop. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was like there for the pop, but like then I thought about what the match is going to be like, and I was like,
this is a wrestling couple that can never stay healthy.
Yeah.
Because Cole's hurt again.
Yeah.
Like he barely made a comeback and he's hurt again. I think Cole's career is done.
It's slowly like coming to that point. I think he needs to get into a Bryan Danielson phase where yes, he's the leader of the group, but all he does is the occasional pay-per-view match and then doesn't wrestle weekly.
Yeah. So with that, we'll move on. Co-main event of the night. We got Jon Moxley defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Tetsuya Naito.
By the way, Stephanie Vacour was amazing in that match.
Yeah, Stephanie Vacour is probably our women's wrestler of the year.
Yeah, already.
Spoiler. Yeah, and it's only June.
June.
Yeah. It's technically July.
July.
July. Don't lie to me, Julier.
Oh my god. This match was a good match.
But again, I wish it went a little longer.
This is the better this is one of the better Naito matches we've seen in a long time.
And this was New Japan Jon Moxley, not AEW Jon Moxley.
Excellent storytelling, number one. Number two, I really truly appreciate Jon Moxley wearing new clothes. Because that outfit that he wears feels like he's a homeless guy that's wrestling in a ring. And for this time, even it's the same style of clothing, but if
people remember like the late 90s, early 2000 bumfights.com, that's Jon Moxley.
He just looks dirty and it doesn't help his character. I like this version better where he has a clean, fresh pair of pants and a clean shirt on. He's still wearing the same type of clothes, but they're just like
clean,
fresh clothes.
Like this is a big event. I got to shower.
Like those pants look like he's been wearing the same pants for fucking like 10 years.
Renee's probably like, get out of the room. You smell.
He looks like he smells. But this was a really good match. There's a really crazy spot where
Mm-hmm.
they knock over like the cameraman or
Yeah.
the sound
The
guy,
sound guy. Yeah, the guy
and
with the
then
boom mic.
Naito's just whacking him with the
With the
fucking thing
tube?
by
I don't
accident.
know. What
And you
was it? A
see him on the
tube or
floor.
some
He's
sort?
like, it was the thing from the top, the cover
the
of the top of
the cover
the.
of the banner, banister. Yeah, yeah. And he's just like, why? It looked like he's
And the
whacking him
guy
with a
was on the
pool
floor, like
noodle.
actually upset. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
It looked like he was whacking him with a pool noodle.
Yeah, just like giving it to him. I'm sure it's a lot harder than a pool noodle.
Yeah, was it the timekeeper or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could see it after he throws the rope out for the camera,
Yeah.
the extension cord. He just fucking throws it because he's so mad that happened.
Unless if that was part of the show, that's amazing.
I don't
Like,
think it was. I think that was purely accidental.
but it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
That's probably the highlight of the match. But no, Tetsuya put on like he gave it 100% in this match, and it showed why he was one of our favorite wrestlers, like why he's one of our favorite wrestlers of all
Yeah.
time.
He's my favorite wrestler.
Right? Like, I mean,
This is my Super Bowl.
but this match proved it. John Moxley, like we said, this was New Japan John Moxley, not AEW John Moxley. He didn't do his usual shenanigans. I don't think he even bled in this match, did he?
No, I don't. I honestly don't recall.
It didn't need it. But in the end, we get a Destino out of nowhere, and he pins John Moxley. And I called this that this
Well,
is
he
where
he gave him a Death Rider, I think, or
Mhm.
a Paradigm Shift, and then give him this Dino.
Yeah. But this is what I called a while back. This is where I said Naito was going to win the belt back at Forbidden Door.
Good. If this is the Naito we're gonna get with the belt, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Not if it's gonna be Sonata Naito.
No. Oh my God. Sandbagging City. Sandbag City is what it's going to be.
John Moxley was like there for this though. Like
Yeah,
he's such a company guy. I have so much
Mm-hmm.
appreciation for him as a wrestler. I don't necessarily like him.
I have the respect. He's
Yeah.
earned my respect as a company man, as a guy. Yeah, sure. I'll put this guy over. Absolutely.
And I really like that.
So I gotta give him his props for that. But we do have a new champion, Tetsuya Naito. Now this is back to back that the title has changed on American soil. Because he lost it at Windy City Riot in Chicago.
Now I kind of get this storyline. They don't want to break up Moxley Shooter. What's gonna happen is the avenging of John Moxley losing is gonna be Shooter.
I wouldn't be surprised if Shooter does fluke win after fluke win in the opening rounds and then ends
it
up winning.
explains why John Moxley got a spot in the G1 tournament. Because he's not the champion.
Yep. He's going to put over Shooter.
Right. He's in it, right? Moxley's in it.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Timmy's going to be on that.
Check it out.
Timmy will check on that. But in the end, like we said, he goes over. Next we get Swerve Strickland against Will Osprey. Originally, it was supposed to be for both belts, but then at the last minute they changed it.
No, it was never for both belts.
No, it was never for both.
No.
Okay. Because so we end up getting so let's go into that match. The G1 we have, who do we have here? I don't have a list. Timmy, you're fired. Timmy, okay. A Block, Umino, Naito, Sonata, Great-O-Khan, Gabe Kidd, Phantasmo, Goto. Sorry, A Block is Umino, Tetsuya Naito, Shingo, Sonata, Jake Lee, Great-O-Khan, Zack Sabre Jr., Gabe Kidd, and Evil. In Block B, you have El Phantasmo, Hanare, Goto, Jeff Cobb, Suji, Takeshita, Uemura, Finley, Narita, and whoever wins the B Block qualifier. So Moxley's not in it. They didn't put him in it in case he was going to still be champ at the time.
But didn't Naito also say he's going to give up his spot?
But Naito was not in it, though.
Yeah, you just said his name. Anyways, doesn't matter. Let's not talk about this.
Yeah, Tetsuya Naito is in it. Okay, he's in A Block with Umino. I think Umino beats him.
Yeah, Umino.
But let's move on to the main event. The main event, it's Swerve Strickland. This was the longest match on the card, which it deserved to be.
Yeah.
This was match of the night.
I don't know. Was really good. It might be match of the night. I think like if I was rating this on a star rating, it's like a 5-star match. It was very good, like an excellent match. But for me, being over analytical or over analyzing,
Yeah.
wrestling, it's their styles didn't work together.
No. Swerve is more of like an indie hardcore style wrestler, and Osprey's just high flying technical. Like,
Osprey's like very lucha.
yeah.
He's very Hayabusa.
Yes. He even came out dressed as
Yeah.
Hayabusa.
He's like Japanese lucha, which is
Yeah.
definitely a
Hayabusa.
thing.
Yeah.
And Swerve is very much more of like
Indie.
yeah,
CZW, that
yeah.
type of.
He has that like high flying, hard hitting style, but
Yeah.
it didn't the story they were telling with the moves they were doing just didn't work for me. Was the match overall amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely it was.
but I don't know if I'd ever be like, I want to see Swerve versus Will Ospreay again. You think you wanted this, but then you
Okay.
got it, and I was like, I don't know if I really like this. From a
Yeah.
personal preference
Yeah,
point,
absolutely.
not on a match quality point.
No, match quality was absolutely fantastic. But I can understand what you're saying there. Like, I mean, you are right. Like I said, it is like that's the trouble you're going to run into when you do these type of shows where you do cross promotional. You're going to get a lot of clash of styles,
Yeah,
and this was, even though they're in the same company, Osprey is still that very much that Japanese style.
I think he's better suited. Swerve is better suited to fight like a CM Punk or a Kenny Omega because he's very versatile. What he could do,
Brian
CM Punk's
Danielson.
style is like that.
Hmm.
Kenny can do both. Adam Page, I think, is like a great
Yeah.
person for him to fight. I want to see Will Ospreay fight Orange Cassidy, and I want to see Will Ospreay fight
Or Adam
Pac.
Page. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pac.
like that's where I want to see those kind of matches because I know it's going to be super high flying and like all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
Right. Where I feel like I want a more grounded, hardcore type wrestler to fight.
That's why Samoa Joe versus Swerve
Yes,
worked so well.
exactly. It's great match though.
Yeah.
Not
And
taking away from the match.
yeah, and when it was just for the AEW World Championship, I knew they weren't going to double belt Will.
This is the one match I'm going to tell you that maybe the whole night I was the most unsure about. It
Really?
flip-flopped back and forth so heavily.
Well, we did have, like you said, there were some great near falls too. Like
it
there
ended
was
really
one,
abruptly though.
yes, even after 30 minutes. It was
Like
almost 30 minutes this match. And
the
at this
way
point,
that-
it's already 1 o'clock in the morning almost.
The fact that there were so many kickouts from Swerve on Will Ospreay, literally doing like 19 fucking Os cutters on him.
Yeah.
The way that Swerve just like one moved him almost, like it wasn't really that, but like if you did the comparison, it kind of
felt
was.
like a one move. Yeah.
I was just like, oh, it's over.
Yeah. And Swerve does end up retaining. So with that brings All In to an end, or All In, Forbidden Door to an end for another year. What would you rate this show?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
I do think because of how many matches there are,
Mm-hmm.
the overall quality is very like streamlined. It didn't feel 5 hours. I enjoyed most of the matches. The only really match that I will point at and say no is the Mercedes Monae match.
Yeah.
Even the learning tree match and stuff, like they were
fine.
I didn't feel like I'm wasting time watching this. You know what I mean? Because there were good wrestlers in those matches.
For me, that's why I gave it a slightly lower score than you. I gave it 7-8.
For me, the reason I'm giving it an 8 is because there's 15 matches. For it to
You definitely get your money's worth on this.
For it to be that good overall with 15 matches is like, I gotta give you.
And for me, it was good matches, but it's like, yeah, this is fine.
Like
this
WWE's been dropping bangers lately.
Yeah.
But they're five matches. If they were to try to do 15, they definitely would not hold on to those scores.
We'll see what they do next week. Next week is our review of Money in the Bank, so make sure you tune in for that next week.
I will be there.
He will be there. I will not, because I'm not justifying spending $300 on a ticket.
Oh, it's a lot more than that now.
Oh yeah.
A lot more. It's like $500.
Yeah, because in Canada, I don't know if people are aware, but in Canada, there's a policy that you can basically resell your ticket on Ticketmaster. It's called variable pricing. So if the show, even if there's tickets still available on Ticketmaster, because the show is so popular, they'll jack the prices up.
Yeah, well, they have it in some states. In the U.S., there's only certain states where you can't do it. The rest of them, there's like
I think New York's one of them where they're not allowed
LA,
to.
you're allowed to do it.
Yeah, because I remember I even tried to get tickets for Depeche Mode. At first, I thought $250 was much for them. Now they're like 940.
There's only two options in Canada, or at least in Toronto. You buy the tickets on the very first second they come out, or you wait till the last minute until they need to fill seats and then get it for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Which happens with AEW and TNA a lot when they come here.
Yeah.
If you wait till the last minute, you could get like $10 tickets to get in.
I might try to pop by after the first match and see if I can get a cheap ticket.
Might as well.
But we'll see how the day goes. But with that out of the way, thanks again for joining us. Tune in next week when we have our WWE Money in the Bank review, and the week after that, we are going to be reviewing NXT Heatwave. So make sure you tune in for that, and maybe we'll see. There might be a little surprise for you later in the week. So, in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.